Well, I'm sorry. You've still got our faces, but now you've also only just got us. Welcome back to Aspect Ratio. You can see us. Yay! I'm guessing people were happy about that. Aspect Ratio is, of course, a podcast which offers you a skewed content creation view, presented by us. Us is me and Dan. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing fine, bud. How are you?
I'm all right. I can't lie. I'm a bit stressed this week. There's been so
Just a
much.
little.
There's been
Just a
so
little.
much crap kicking off online, in my own life, work-wise, college. Everything's just happened in 1 week, and I'm like, it's only 2023. It's the first week of 2023, and I've already had enough.
Yeah, it's like literally the first 8 days, and you're like, fuck it.
I'm fucking done. I'm really done. It's the 8th of fucking January, and I'm already like, is it 2024 yet?
But remember, guys, if you want to see a fifth of the problems that Smack is going through, just follow me on Twitter. The fifth of it is posted on there.
At Smack Streams on Twitter if you want to see some of the shit that's been kicking off on there. Thing is, the shit's not even like around me. I've kind of, I don't want to say inserted myself into it, but I have kind of inserted myself into it.
Oh, you've 100% just inserted yourself. But then again,
Yeah.
right? If the things that have been said don't get commented on, then it's just going to feel like they can just keep doing it. So we're going to keep on commenting on them.
Yes.
And, make sure that they're being told that they're being such douches.
Yes, there is. Now there will be a full update on what's been happening, all that when it comes to discussing Twitter stuff. I'm not calling it Twitter drama anymore because this, especially not this week, because this ain't drama. This is lives. These are people's lives that we're going on to. But before we do that, of course, it is now the 8th of January. We're a week into the new year, which means by now most people have broken their resolutions. Oh shit! Hang on, my camera. Forgot to press record. There we go.
Oh my God.
I was recording on that end. There we go. I forgot to do it. My camera just went into standby mode. There we go.
So
I'm done.
The first 3 seconds of this video is going to just be Deke. Got it.
No, I've not even put Derek's camera on. Derek's a future guest. Well, he's camera shy today. You're just seeing his ass. Have you broken any resolutions yet, Dan? Are you sticking to what you've wanted to do?
I'm actually sticking surprisingly well, to be honest. Normally, like, I would be like, oh, I'm going to go for a walk, and then like 3 days later, the work is hard.
Well, it would be if you've been walking for 3 fucking days, mate.
No, I'm saying like normally I haven't walked for about a year. I haven't, or like multiple back in the day. Like back when I was living in Ashington, I never. People thought I didn't have legs.
Dan, is there going to be a fucking week where you don't try and dox yourself? You've given away your real name and now say where you used to live.
Yeah. I mean, right. All I'm going to say is, if people come to kidnap me and they do it, they fucking deserve it. Look at me. I'm a huge man. Okay? If they manage to get me into a van, they've earned it. Okay?
Fucking hell. By the end of this year, we're going to have Dan's fucking national insurance number, his fucking tax codes.
This week on the podcast, Carl's been kidnapped and he's in Cambodia.
I know, we couldn't get a guest. I don't even have my regular host. I just had a ransom note sent through, and I'm not 100% sure why.
No, sure you want to pay it.
I know.
It's not fault.
Fucking serves him right. They've been building up a case against him for months by just listening to the show.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Am I a criminal now? Have I been implemented in some little scheme?
Yes, your own fucking kidnapping. This is why you're giving away your information slowly.
Yes. Because I've got some sort of insurance I'd like to collect on.
Fucking hell. My face hurts and I've completely forgotten what the fuck we were talking about.
We're talking about
resolutions. Have you broken them?
Yeah.
You've been walking?
No. So I've been walking. So back when I used to live in Ashington, I did not basically walk anywhere. I was sitting here on the computer, slowly getting wider. But now that, like, since last year, I've been walking throughout the year. The walking is easier. It is. I'm able to walk 8 miles without dying.
That's always a bonus. Did you regularly die before? I wasn't sure this was something you could continuously come back from.
I regularly died after like 3 steps.
Okay. I didn't realize that resurrection was a constant thing.
It is, and it's really quite annoying, to be honest.
It's a bit frustrating.
Yeah. What about you? What about New Year's resolutions for you?
I didn't really have some resolutions as such. I have managed to stick to the no fizzy beverages. I've struggled, I must admit, because there's obviously, for those who don't know, I have some issues regulating my sugar levels. I haven't been diagnosed as diabetic, but I will occasionally get like sugar crashes and just I start to shake and everything goes. And sometimes the easiest way to get through that is quick, grab a Mars bar and like a can of Coke or something. Just other brands are available.
You're not you when you're hungry.
Exactly. And yeah, it could happen at sporadic times. And it's weird because I have had a history of consuming quite a lot of fucking sugar, I can't lie. But yeah, I need to get blood tests and everything done properly to try and find out what the cause is. But reaching for like a can of something fizzy was one of the easiest ways to just go quick bank it because it hit my system a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So like yesterday, I'd been out for a walk with the dog. I came back, Z was getting ready to stream, and after coming back from the dog walk, I could feel it starting.
Not the shakes.
Yeah, I could feel them coming on, and I get like this weird sort of chill across my body before the shakes kick in.
Human
So
vibrator.
like, yeah, essentially, yes. It's almost like a cold sweat that kicks in. I just start to fucking vibrate. But so I thought, right, I need to nip over at the shop and get something. And we've got a newsagent's like literally directly across the road, so it's just a 2-second walk out the door. So I thought I'll nip it. And again, standard would be I'd go over and grab like a chocolate bar and a can of something. And I grabbed the chocolate bar, then I went, no, I don't grab the can of something. But then I started thinking, is that bad? Should I do it? So instead, I just grabbed an extra chocolate bar. Fuck it.
I mean, to be honest, there's less sugar in 2 chocolate bars than would be in a can of, say, Coke. For example.
Probably, yes. But it did also mean that the shakes continued a little bit longer than I would have liked.
Yeah. Well, obviously, with like the long-term effects will probably be better for you if you could let your body regulate the sugar a lot better.
Exactly. I need to get back to the gym because I've also had God, I fucking sound like even older than I actually am. I was at the hospital a couple of weeks ago for chest pains that had kicked in. And yeah, again, they come and go. So my liver function is impaired, which is good fun.
Yes.
And I've got these issues with my fucking sugar levels, and I'm getting chest pains. So, make the most of every aspect ratio that you can, folks, because Dan will have a different host.
I mean, I know he's going on about how he's like, thinking he's not decrepit. He is going to make it by the end of the hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine. I'm not. There's a reason that I'm drinking this stuff. It's just pure. It's just water. So yeah, I must admit, I am feeling a bit better though, being able, like in general, day-to-day stuff with drinking a lot more water. I've cut down the caffeine intake a little bit because we've switched from instead of just and this. By the way, for anyone who drinks, maybe they think they drink too much caffeine, especially people who play games, stream. This goes out to everyone there. I have found one of the best ways for me to cut it down is to stop using just like instant coffee. So instead of just like, spoon of coffee into the cup, boil the kettle, bang, we're good to go. We now only use like either my coffee machine, which doesn't make a big coffee, but makes a nice fancy coffee, which is quite good. Or we use the cafetiere between the two of us. So it's not as easy for me to just go like, quick, make a coffee, go sit down. The process of making the coffee takes just that little bit longer. But I find that by doing that, I'm less likely to just go, I want a drink, I'll just have a quick coffee. Because if I'm having one that takes a little bit longer to make, I'm less likely to go, quick, just make one and sit down and drink it.
You say that whilst I'm drinking a cup of my instant coffee here.
Yeah, exactly. But this is it. It's not like we won't have instant coffee in the house. We do, but I'm trying to find alternative ways because we've had like loads of coffee pod, like we've got one of those Tassimo machines. So we've got pods, and I've always liked ground coffee anyway, and I've even got a grinder like I can grind my own coffee beans and stuff if I wanted to. But I used to think nice coffee, if I, like a different occasion, even just at the weekend, have a nice coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm finding if I stick to the good stuff, then I'm drinking less of it because I'm actually enjoying the coffee that I'm having. And because the process takes a little bit longer, I'm less likely to just fall back on it as a quick fallback resort.
Yeah. For me, like I've got things in my kitchen that I've had for about a year now that I've never used. And I mean that I should use them because they're healthier. They're much healthier. For example, I have an air fryer.
Yeah.
Haven't used it.
Yeah. This is the thing.
I should use it because it's quick. Well, it means quicker to make chips as well. But it's also It's also healthier. You can also like do other things, make it healthier and stuff like. And it uses, especially in this day and age where energy is really, really fucking expensive. It uses less energy than an oven.
Yeah.
And you can, like I said, you can make anything really in an air fryer. You can, I mean, regardless of how many times you use it, it's still up to a certain point. It's still less energy than it would take for an oven to be on for like 30 minutes. I really should use it. I want to start using more of them this year. So that's
Yeah.
probably one of my goals that I'm going to be doing as well.
They're very handy things. There's so many like kitchen gadgets and stuff that can be bought to either make your lives easier or make processes of things quicker. And I think so many times a lot of us get caught up in the fad of just quick buy that, especially things like slow cookers, air fryers, all that, where everyone has one. Then we all buy one, we use it a couple of times, then we barely fucking use it ever again.
Yeah.
And I think like I said, my coffee things were the thing for me as we bought them. Like the coffee machine was actually a Christmas present a few years ago from my dad.
Yeah.
And he bought me like 10 packets of the fucking pods that go with it as well. And that took me ages to get through.
What's with fathers and buying kitchen appliances for Christmas? Because my dad bought me a toaster for Christmas and the air fryer last year.
Well, the thing is, it's not normally my dad. I must admit, it's usually my stepmom. She tends to do most of it.
Well, parents in general.
Dad just pays for it.
Was it parents in general? I was always buying kitchen appliances for Christmas. Like one year, I know I got that microwave as well.
Dan's just slowly accumulating. I think this is
I'm
their way
slowly accumulating appliances, to be honest.
it's their way of making sure that you don't come home. Just
I
giving
think,
you loads of things.
I think this year I might get curtains for some reason. I don't
As
know
you
why.
do.
Yeah,
Maybe
It's
because you haven't
easy.
got any.
Well, I don't actually.
Exactly. Just to make it
It
easier
is.
for those people who know his real name, where he used to live, if you're trying to find him, look for the flat with no curtains, you'll see him.
And to be honest, right, my blinds are open. You'll see me. I'll wave hi.
Come on in.
Nah, you can't. You got to buzz. You got to buzz in. You got to buzz in.
Well, you're fair. You're fair. But yeah, beyond that, yes, things have been, like I say, a bit chaotic this past week.
Yes,
Because
very much
I've
so.
got, so folks will know, I've discussed it before, I had an interview at an axe throwing club for a role as axe throwing coach. I hadn't heard back from them. So I was kind of like, fuck, what's going on? Am I going to hear anything? What the hell's going to happen? The manager who'd interviewed me was actually away on holiday, or away back home to America for the festive period. So I got offered another job interview. So I thought, screw it, I'll go to this other job interview and see what's happening. While I'm sitting in this other interview doing a little online test that they require you to do, it takes 30 minutes, I get an email back from the axe throwing place saying, sorry, you've been unsuccessful. We've gone with another candidate. I'm like, well, fuck, I really wanted that one.
Well, it's a good thing you're at another interview, then, isn't it?
Exactly, especially when at the end of that interview they offer me the job on the spot.
Well, there you go. Then. Imagine if they like offered you the job and then you got the text saying, "By the way, you've been successful at this excellent company."
Exactly, but this is
Yeah.
why, because I was turning up to that one, I thought I would send them a preemptive kind of, hey, is there any update? Because I hadn't
Yeah.
heard back. So yeah, this other place have offered me the job. I had to go back. That was on the Thursday. I had to go back in the next day and drop off all my paperwork that needed to be signed, try on the uniforms for size and all that jazz. I've got a training course on Monday and Tuesday this week for like 5 hours a day.
Very nice.
It's part-time, which is good. I should find out my timetable for college next week. So yeah, everything's kind of kicking off. I was telling Dan earlier about another little opportunity that I've got coming up to do something just now as well, which ties into like college. So yeah, it's kind of all kicked off at once, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, a lot of things for you are happening in this first week.
Exactly.
Like this first week of 2023 has been a very hectic one for you in terms of real life situations.
Exactly, and I'm not used to that because the whole point of me
No.
like taking a break from work and all that shit was to give myself time to
break,
breathe. And the
yeah.
problem is I've done that, and now everything's happening at once. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of overwhelming me a little bit. So
Well,
I don't know.
Well, I do really 100% believe that's your fault for that, because not only did you decide to go to college, you decided to go for a job interview as well.
I know. Well, the thing is, so I've accepted this job offer. I'm still waiting to hear back. I know my college course fees are being paid for. They're funded. My fees are covered.
Yes,
But I don't know if I'm receiving any additional funding from them. If I do receive additional funding from the college, I might not need to take the job. So
right.
I'm kind of in the, I'm literally accepting everything, knowing that I'm going to have to turn something down at the end of it.
Yeah. So this is something that I didn't think I'd actually get into, which is my background. Is I actually used to work for student finance.
Yes, I know you did.
So
More hints and advice for anyone looking to kidnap him.
actually, yeah. Well, back in there, back in 2013. I don't think they'll have my records now. No, I said 2013. It might have been. No, it wasn't. It was 2015. Now we go. That's it. Anyway.
Yes.
As I was saying, so the way the funding works and stuff is that obviously your course fees are as long as you haven't done like that sort of course before, and you've got years left because you get like 3 years, the number of course years that you're doing plus one.
Yeah.
And as long as you've got the amount of years you've got left doesn't exceed that plus one, then you should be fine in terms of the funding. In terms of additional funding, you get I don't know if it still works the same as part-time and full-time, but you get this sort of thing called the maintenance loan, and then obviously the additional loan.
But you've got to remember, yours is based in England as well. I'm in Scotland, so everything works.
Yes, I know, but they're mostly the same thing. The only difference is yours is better.
Yes,
because yours doesn't cost as much.
True. I mean, the thing is, if I don't qualify for the additional funding, it's fine. This is why I accepted the job. This is why I was looking for a job in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's only part time, so I've said to them, look, I only want to work like 20 hours a week. I don't want to go OTT. And I've said to them, they're like, oh, there will be options for overtime, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but no.
The overtime that you're going to be doing is here. Right here
no, I was like, no. I was like, I'm telling you now, chances are, as long as I'm working enough hours to cover my half of the bills, I don't really care. I'm not burning myself out at work. I'd rather work for the minimum amount of hours possible and actually enjoy my free time. Welcome to the new world of me. But yeah, it's all kicked off. It's all gone a bit mad at once, but it'll start to settle down. Once I've got my timetable for college and I know what's happening there, we'll be okay. So I'm not complaining about it.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, go for it.
I was going to say, we're going to say what has kicked off, and that's the situation on Twitter.
Yes, the Twitter chaos, shall we say. So I'm going to preface this by saying there are individuals involved whose names I'm not going to mention.
Agreed.
Because they've had enough to deal with. They have faced enough, and I'm not going to name them or go over the content massively that involves them. However, I do want to use this opportunity I have to discuss a particular individual who we've mentioned before, and I was going to release a video directly on, but I want to discuss them on the podcast as well if I can, which is a certain JTX, aka Mr. Joe Tendo. So Joe began, and I'm going to say Joe began this because he kind of did, by sending or posting information that had been sent to him via someone else. It doesn't say who it was, which is fair enough. Joe has a tendency of, protecting sources and stuff like that and not giving away names of people who send them stuff, which is fair enough. However, this stuff was decade old and had been discussed previously. So it was inappropriate comments, offensive terminology in comments, racist messages that someone had posted years and years ago, like 10 years ago. And yeah, the problem is, and this is where I tied into it, is that this stuff has been discussed already in the past. Like the individual who has been sent it was sent it themselves again like a year ago. They've discussed it in TikToks. They've discussed it on their streams. They've discussed it before. So it's been done. It's been covered. So this whole, someone sent me this stuff, I'm going to post it now. It proves nothing. It's already out there. It's in the ether, and the individual has been very open, about their own past and what it's tied into.
And we'll just like them, the comments made, say, 10 years ago might not reflect the comments on that certain individual now.
Exactly.
10 years ago, people might have been like children, teenagers, even young adults, and do not know how the real world works yet.
Yeah. Even if they do,
they don't.
How many times have any of us, and I mean any of us, said something in our group of friends that we look back on now and go, what the fuck was I thinking?
Exactly.
That's not cool. But
I still do that these days, and then you have to think about what you've said the next day and go, maybe that wasn't the best thing to say at that specific time.
And the ability to actually look at what you've said and grow from it and listen to the people who you have upset and angered and offended and fucking pissed off with it. The ability to listen to those people, not listen to the people around you. If you, I'll use us as an example right now. If you said something racist, and it's not, I can say to you, dude, that's not cool.
Yeah.
You can say, yes, actually, you're right. I apologize. It's not on me to accept that apology because I ain't the one that's offended by it. I'm not the one who's impacted by it. It doesn't impact me. It doesn't affect my life. I'm not going to accept Europe. It's down to the individuals not the individuals, the community who you have offended to decide whether or not they want to accept your apology. Now, let's say all this came out a year ago. The issue I had with it is Joe is very much an individual who, in all their previous content that they've done, they've always says, do your research, back it up.
Exactly.
So when Joe claimed this is sent to him, and like I say, I've got no reason to suspect it's not. I'm not saying Joe went and searched it themselves. If they say, or if he says that someone has sent it to him, cool, fine. I've got no reason to doubt you. But when you received it, before you posted it, did you do your research? Did you look into whether or not this has been posted before? Has it been discussed? Has there been anything posted regarding it? Has it been dealt with and people have moved on? Because if you have, and then you've chosen to still post it anyway, you're just personally attacking someone for the fucking sake of it, which is just unnecessary and childish. And if you haven't done your research, stop preaching to everyone else that you always have receipts and everything is backed up and everything you do is right, because it's fucking not.
I mean, let's see. The key here thing is the research behind it, because obviously, if Joe did do his research, he would have found out that this issue had already been talked about. But what I'm really, really sad about in regarding Joe is just how the way he's been acting at this point in time is affecting the community he's a part of.
Yes.
Now, a certain thing happened in his community last week, which obviously, if you've got me on Twitter, if you've got Smack on Twitter, we have obviously talked about this issue. I mean, thingy, and it was a vile thing that happened.
Yes.
I mean, very vile. And obviously, I'm not going to go too far into it, because obviously the person that this happened to obviously has had so much to deal with, especially this past week with everything that this has been brought up.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that this thing happened in his community, and I'm on his Twitter now, and obviously I've tagged him.
Yeah.
You have tagged him.
Several times.
Many other people have tagged him about this disgusting thing that someone in his community has said.
Well, I will say there's no guarantee that it's from his community. That's just
true.
Just to be fair, we don't know that it's come from Joe's community. The tie-in here is that this thing that was sent has Joe's name in it. So the person who has sent it is either a fan, follower, member of Joe's community, or is trying to implicate Joe in some way with it.
Yeah, that's true.
The problem is, the problem we've got with it is, and I think this is probably where you were going as well, is regardless of whether or not it's from Joe's community, it's discussing Joe. Joe is directly mentioned within it, and therefore has some culpability when it comes to what has been put into it. Like I'd be willing to bet, and it's not a fact, it's not a guarantee, I'd be willing to bet that if it hadn't been for Joe's initial posting of the things that were found and sent to him from 10 years ago, this person wouldn't have then sent the email that they did. Therefore, it's a direct correlation, direct reaction to what Joe started. So whether or not it's from his community, he needs to step up and fucking condemn it.
Well, I say, we don't know if he's condemned it privately. We don't know this. We don't have access to his DM. So if he has messaged this individual and apologized, fair play to him. But at the moment, we don't know that. And given the fact that he obviously hasn't mentioned this publicly either, like even hasn't even acknowledged its existence, despite everyone's messaging him.
Oh, he said it in the comments. Within the comments of the thread of it, he said he doesn't agree with it.
No, thank God than that. But actually, there we go. That's something to do with research. I didn't actually notice that.
But
there's too many comments.
This is the thing, right? And I've gone back. So when stuff came up regarding another content creator, BB Jess and Hey Tony, when everything was being discussed about them, they separated. It was posted publicly on BB Jess's page a while ago.
Okay.
There was a lot of discussion within that thread. And one of the things that Joe said directly in that thread was that the person who posted it, because the thread was so saturated, it was such a big thread, the person wouldn't read the comments. Like, they're not going to read the comments on such a saturated thread.
Yeah, exactly.
So my issue here is, if that's the case, then why does Joe assume that the individual in this instance is going to see his comment within a saturated thread? Like, if he thinks that someone isn't going to see comments in a big, long thread, why does he think it's okay to hide his comment in amongst that thread? Why not come out?
I'm going through the thread now, and like I said, I'm about 50 comments in, and I can't see his reply.
Yeah, see, this is the problem, is because you get the thread itself, but then you get like small sub-threads that spawn off of it, and then you get little sub-threads that spawn off of there. So it can be very difficult to track. I'd never want to assume that someone doesn't read all the comments on a thread, because it's someone else's thread. They can, if they want to read through it all, that's their choice. If they don't, they don't. That's neither here nor there. But my main issue here is Joe is mentioned directly. So whether he likes it or not, he is tied to this. He is connected to it. He is mentioned specifically in it. And like I said earlier, I still believe that his actions preceding it either led to someone doing it or gave them the confidence to do what they did anyway. So
exactly.
Now, what I will say is the individual who this is all centered around has themselves put out or discussed on a stream that they don't want people going after Joe, which is fine. I have been in a conversation with that individual privately. I have messaged them to discuss it, because I actually created a video discussing a lot of this that I haven't released based on the fact that this individual didn't want people going after Joe. However, they have told me that if I feel passionately enough about something, then, discuss it by all means. So before anyone comes out, because it was pointed out to me that they had mentioned it recently, I didn't know, I didn't see the stream. It was brought to my attention that someone had, by someone on Twitter publicly, so again, it's available for everyone to see. I responded to them and says, thank you for making me aware of this. At that point, I reached out to the individual in question. I told them, I showed them a screenshot of my computer to show that the upload had been cancelled. I wasn't going to release the video. And in fact, bear with me. Again, I'm not going to read names or do anything else. But I was told if I feel passionately about it, then they don't mind what I post. So to balance it out, I'm not posting the video, but I am discussing it here. So this is just to give folks a clarification. I am aware that they didn't want to, but I have spoke to them personally. I'm not going to share the fucking messages because that's private between me and them, but it's there. So I am discussing it because I do feel passionately about it, and I feel passionately about this fucking stupid approach that Joe is taking. It's a doubling down, and it's deflection. And there is so much history and proof of Joe just deflecting and refusing to answer a question when it's posed to him. I'm fucking fed up of it. I have defended this individual. I've defended Joe a lot in the past. And now I feel like I've been fucking misled by, and I've fallen into the bullshit of someone, because they have done good. Let's be honest. Joe has done good stuff.
Yeah, yes, obviously he has. You mean he called out the the sub stuff, the follow stuff?
He called out Hover, which is now fucking dead as well. That was going to be a big thing to discuss this week.
I don't think Joe himself is a very bad individual. He's not.
Nope. I think he's just, right now it feels like he's been backed into a corner, and he's just not reacting to it. And it's painful to see, because Joe's platform is built on some good stuff. It's like the basis of it, and what got him what got him a Twitch partner was playing Super Mario Maker 2, if I remember rightly. But a lot of his YouTube content that took off was discussing things on Hover, calling a lot of that out. And like I say, Hover's now dead. He's called out sexual offenders, people who have perpetrated sexual assault. He's called them out. And I support that wholeheartedly. However, past actions don't excuse current behavior. Like, I think I said this on, so Joe hosts a podcast as well, and his co-host put out a tweet at one point asking, what's the deal with past behaviors? Someone's done good, why are we judging them now? And I'm like, saving a life before does not mean you can take a life now.
Exactly.
You know, that's the easy. It's a very, broad analogy. I appreciate, but that's the easiest way I can do it. You know, saying something good in the past doesn't mean you can say what you want now. And you've got things like, oh, not all KKK members are terrorists. Joe, what? Fucking what? If you're a member of the fucking KKK, you're supporting a terrorist organization. Shut the fuck up with that nonsense. Come on. It's just silly.
Exactly. Very, very silly.
I'm just, yeah. I want an answer to the questions I've asked. That's all I want. And I admitted this in the video that I made. When I called, and I think I mentioned it to you earlier, when I asked Joe for a discussion, I made a stupid little meme image of like a fake breaking news thing about someone twisting a story and forgetting to stretch first and doing themselves an injury. Again, it's still public on my page, so you can see it if you want to, of asking Joe for a conversation. He didn't like the fact that I'd used that image, so he declined. And I'm like, well, I used the image to get your attention. Fair enough. It clearly backfired, but I did get the response. It just wasn't the response I was after, sadly, which is my own fault. But hey ho. But the door is open still. I am still willing to sit down and have a discussion with you, just us. You can have someone else involved to mediate it if you want, Joe. But I have questions that I have asked you, and you haven't answered them. And if you just answered these questions, a lot of people would be. You'd have a bit more fucking respect from the people who are currently feeling massively let down by you.
Exactly.
Just did you do your research when the stuff was sent to you? That's the priority question one. And then question two, will you put out a post condemning the behaviour? You have a platform, whether this person's in your community or not, they follow you somewhere, they are aware of your content, they mention you by name.
They're aware of your beef that you've had with people, your past posts that you have made with certain individuals. They are aware of that.
Exactly. So put out a post that shows that you condemn not condemning a member of your community because you don't know that it is. None of us do. Not condemning and calling out a specific individual for doing it, but condemning those actions in general.
Exactly. It takes nothing to just go, this certain action that this, and like it doesn't say this certain action that has been seen in this post is absolutely vile.
Yeah.
I do not support it. Do not think in any way that I do. That's all you needed to put.
Yeah.
But instead, at the moment, you're staying silent. And sadly, silence says a lot more. It does.
The silence is fucking deafening right now.
Exactly.
And it's like I think I said it in the video. Inaction speaks just as loud as action. And right now there is no action coming from Joe's side regards to this. There's just there's been a lot of, again, go onto Joe's page. There's a lot of not shifting the blame, but shifting the attention away onto different things.
Yeah.
Like Hover has died now, like completely. The app's gone, the Twitter account's gone, the Discord's gone.
Which was hilarious because people thought it was going to be the new Twitter ever since Elon Musk was.
Exactly, it was fucking brilliant. But again, Joe's posting about like, Derek, shushed. Hi. No. My dog has decided to interrupt. Also doesn't like Hover, apparently.
No, I mean, to be honest, too.
Derek also dislikes Hover. But yeah, again, it's like sharing of his own videos or the own his own content around Hover. Just.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, you're trying to like show your own praises. Look, I was talking about this in the past. I knew about it, and it's, don't use your own previous good actions to try and paint yourself as shut up, dog, you're grumping.
Yeah, exactly. Don't like your past actions doesn't matter now. It doesn't. Yeah. You may have done something good. You may have done something good in the past. I used to have a surfboard. Doesn't matter. Same difference. It doesn't.
I used to be younger.
Yeah, I used to be younger. It's accurate, but no one will know. But exactly. No one will give a crap.
It doesn't balance out the fact that now I am older.
Yeah.
Being older is a negative thing.
Exactly.
He shared something as well. I should say from it's like a quote from Stephen Fry. It's now very common to hear people say, I'm rather offended by that, as if that gives them certain rights. It's no more than a whine. I find that offensive. It has no meaning. It has no purpose. It has no reason to be respected as a phrase. So fucking what? That in and of itself shows that Joe has offended people, but doesn't care.
Exactly.
Like, there's no care about having offended someone because it doesn't mean anything. I'm like,
Sadly, it comes to the thing that he is. I mean, no offense to him, but he just doesn't get people.
yeah. I mean, he's put out.
He's understanding the whole before he's like,
Yeah.
right, he's building this community, right? And he is on a platform where different communities interact with each other.
Yeah.
Right? You have Joe's community, you have other people's community, you have our community, and eventually, right, whether it's by us trying or accidental, those communities will intermingle.
Yeah.
Rather be like, hey, how are you doing? Or some things might get said. And if you're not preparing your community to not only just be like to be aware of how people feel in terms of certain situations here or there, or at least acknowledge that sometimes people will say stupid things, like what was said in not only in with what happened like last week.
Yeah.
I'll say that this week. Or further on down the line, something bad's going to be said, or in the past something was bad, and someone's going to bring that up again, because, like I say, something what was said years ago is not okay now, because people grew up.
Yeah.
We learn. It's called evolution.
Yeah, progression and growth, personal growth is kind of a big deal.
Exactly.
He's put out another video lately, by the way. I don't know, it's like a 10-minute video on someone else completely. This is based on a subject he's covered in the past. A content creator called Toodles about art theft.
Oh, yes. I did watch that.
Yeah.
I say I watched it. I skimmed through it.
5 minutes into it, he mentions another content creator who, again, I've had a conversation with.
I know exactly which content
that has nothing like
nothing to do with the video. Nothing to do with the video at all.
Nothing to do with the art theft at all. It's like they're in a discussion with someone else. Like their input in the whole thing he's covering is completely unnecessary. He just included them and spoke about them for a few minutes because it's them. And I'm like,
well, like I said,
Joe, get the fuck over it, man.
Exactly. If you're going to do a video about art theft, fine, fair enough. People steal art. People need to be called out when they do.
Yes.
Right? Yes, yes, people will copy art and will think, I've done that exactly the same. I've got an image, right? And like, oh, this image looks good. I message the original person. It is, and I go, hey, mind if I use this as a base layout and go around it? And it does. They'll go, yeah, all right. Or they'll go, it's all right if you use it as a base, but don't make it look similar.
Yeah.
Right? Or don't make it look exactly the same.
Yes. I mean, my partner is a digital artist. My son does a lot of digital artwork. I'm quite well versed in helping them protect their own artwork. Exactly. But so if theft happens, it's kind of There's a lot of shit that's kicking off, and I'm fucking pissed off about it.
But like I said, if you're going to make like a comment on that certain individual, don't hide it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's basically it. In a 5-minute video, that's what you did. You hid that comment in that person. As you didn't call him out publicly, you didn't say anything. You hid a comment, and that just makes you one thing: a coward.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're not, and it's the same thing as if you're not going to call out the stupid, disgraceful behavior that was shown this week in your name.
Yeah,
that's what you are: a coward.
Yeah. Nothing else I can say that can add to it. Yeah, Joe, stand up, speak out, do something, protect what you have, because right now your own reputation is in fucking tatters amongst a lot of, not everyone. You've still got a lot of diehards who will stand by you and think you've done no wrong, but please open your eyes to see the hypocrisy that comes from you, the inconsistencies that come from you, and the damaging behaviors that you're displaying and the comments that you're making. Because I, for one, would fully support you if you would come out and said, I'm wrong, I need to learn, this is a thing.
Like I said, like it's also like we've said before, if people, like I said, don't agree with our views on this, they may think Joe has done no wrong. No. Send us an email. Send us a tweet.
Yeah.
Right? Send us a message. If you're in our Discord, send us a message on Discord.
Yeah.
Right? We will happily respond with you. We will have a nice discussion, a nice debate. Doesn't have to be personal. Doesn't have to be mean or aggressive. Just say, I think your situation about this with Joe is wrong. Here's a list of reasons why.
Yep.
And we will happily get into that with you. There has to be no animosity for a debate.
Yeah. And this comes from both sides as well. I will say that there are some people who are obviously very, very angry at Joe and display such anger. And I can understand if someone is being angry towards you, it's quite easy to step back and go, fuck you, and get defensive as well. So I understand a lot of the lashing back, but it's not always... Lashing back isn't required to everyone if someone's willing to have an open discussion with you.
I mean, if someone who obviously wants to continue this discussion and says why everything Joe has done is evil and things, I will happily play devil's advocate. I will, and say why, no, he's Lord Savior. Like Elon Musk.
Good old Elon.
Good old Elon. I'm not going to go about aspect ratio without mentioning Lord Savior.
He has to be discussed at some point. He must be mentioned. It has to be discussed.
Yeah. If I wanted to go really far, this is all happening on his platform, therefore he bears responsibility as well. Okay?
Fuck's sake, Elon, you're culpable for creating a platform that allowed us all to express ourselves.
Well, he didn't create it, he just bought it. There's a difference.
That's a fair point, actually, yes. Sorry. You own a platform that allows us all.
There we go, that's better.
Fucking create a platform. I don't think he fucking created anything other than... I mean, I suppose he created a child.
Yeah,
also created. Yeah, I was going to say also created trauma for that child by giving it a name.
Yeah,
I was very tempted. There we go. We're going off. By the way, we're leaving the rest of it behind now. The drama, drama is not what this is. This is traumatic.
It's the chaos. Yeah, this discussion that we've just had, it's gone.
Yeah, it's done now.
We've said our piece. You're done.
Yeah. Joe, balls in your court. Next, you were just mentioning about Elon Musk's child there. I was tempted to change the spelling of my name to like XYZ. And then when people ask me how that's pronounced, just tell them, like, say my actual name.
Yeah.
So, XYZ, what's that? How do I pronounce that? Smack.
Oh, Chris.
Fuck, I was not giving away my real name this time. That's fucking giving me away now, you...
Well, dox me, I will dox you too.
My postcode is... Don't you fucking dare.
123937652.
Someone asked me the other day what my landline phone number is. I forgot that landlines even fucking existed. I was like,
yeah.
so what?
Who's using a landline nowadays? I mean, obviously, people who, the older generation still do use landlines because they don't know how to work the mobile phones.
Yes, well, not only that, but they're at home a little bit more.
Yeah, that's true. But I have the ability to use a landline.
Yeah, same.
Well, then again, the amount of times that my phone needs charging, I might as well still be using a landline.
I actually asked Z the other day. I was like, "How many times do you think people have dialed? You know, like the silly numbers that try and contact you about the car accident."
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder how many people have actually dialed the landline number that exists for the property we're in, even though we don't have a phone connected to it, because you can still phone the number. It'll just ring constantly. So I'm like, I wonder how many people have actually done that. I'm intrigued. How many people have tried phoning me and just never got through?
I mean, that's like so many people you're not able to have a conversation with. But then again, I always have a conversation with people who try and think I've been in accidents.
Yes.
Mainly due to the fact it must have been a really bad one because I don't have any memory of it whatsoever.
I do tell them a lot of the time. I'm like, is that? Are you talking about the accident where I killed 3 people and lost my license? That kind of really throws them off. They're just like, So I don't drive.
Yeah. Yes, I got away with it then. Why are you bringing it up now?
And I was like, shh, someone's listening.
And to obviously all the American, Chinese, and British intelligence that are listening to this at the moment, you'll never catch me.
No, because someone else is already going to have fucking kidnapped him based on the information already given. Dan is currently recording this from a basement in someone else's house.
Exactly. Gary, can I have a drink, please? The ropes are getting too tight as well.
Can you please run some water down the rope that's out above my head? Feed me this way. You know, like the way they used to. What was it they say about the old like ninja administering poison? They'd like lower a rope through the thing and run the poison. I don't know where the fuck I went with that tangent. Jesus Christ.
Neither do I, but heck, why not? I mean, at the moment, I'm now kidnapped in Cambodia in someone's basement.
And they're trying to feed you water through a rope.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, at least it's nice they've got a fire in my background, so it keeps the room warm.
I swear to God, one of us needs to get a fucking green screen so I can just fuck these up in the edits. Someone needs to green screen. I'd love to, but I've put a lot of effort into my background.
Yeah, I've got no background. I will happily get a green screen.
I've been tempted by it. It would make my back bit a little easier.
Yeah.
So yes, We've taken up quite a lot of time based on the Twitter discussion for this week. So
yeah,
I do want us to end on something positive. I'm not going to mention the game this week, and I appreciate the game side of things. We've missed over a little bit, but it's because I actually haven't been playing anything different this past couple of weeks. Unless you have.
I mean, I haven't. I play like I say, I only play like a certain things. Like I say, I play World of Warcraft, I play D&D, and sometimes I play Final Fantasy. That's about it.
Yeah, I must admit I'm back into my State of Decay a lot more now, which is good. Mm-hmm. I thoroughly enjoy being back in my. But other than that, I haven't really branched out or even looked into anything new. So what I'm thinking is I'm not going to mention games this week because next week's show, I want to actually do a discussion on like games that are sort of set for release this year, and what kind of thing I'm looking into. So just look into games that are already sort of booked in for release for this year and have a chat about what's coming for that. But away from the game side of things, we do obviously have our ones to watch. So Dan, who do you have for us this week? Who would you like to highlight?
I have, obviously, I'm a huge pirate fan.
Yes.
It is. And I love games like Sea of Thieves.
Yars.
So I do watch people who play a Sea of Thieves, and one of them is called the Outcast Princess.
Outcast Princess?
It is. The Outcast Princess. They are an outcast, and nice to meet you. Their birthday is in July 21st. I don't know why that's on there.
Just because?
Yeah. Tom and me doxing people. They want me to send them birthday gifts.
Yeah, just giving out everything now. Fuck it.
Yeah. They work full time and then they stream on the side. And the fun fact, you'll never see me go through a whole stream without having a snack. A bit like me.
I was going to say, that's fucking accurate for us, that. Jesus Christ.
I mean, to be honest, it'd be more accurate if I streamed.
True.
They have a Discord, they have socials, they have an Instagram and TikTok. They don't have. It doesn't look like they don't have a Twitter on there, which is surprising due to the fact that everyone and their Twitter nowadays.
There is a lot of people on Twitter nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. And well, at the moment they've streamed pretty much every day this week.
Jeez.
They streamed on New Year's, playing games like Ghost Watchers and stuff like that. They play Fortnite, Cryosphere, Sea of Thieves. Their timings vary, but mostly between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. That's when they are normally live.
That's quite a good time. Are they UK based?
The times are set in the UK.
That's fine. Yeah.
Well, they're actually in the UK, I have no idea.
As long as it's GMT based times, that's fine. Gives them an idea. Well, again, a link to them shall be in What did you say their Twitch handle is?
The Outcast Princess.
The Outcast Princess. There you go. So I'm guessing it'll be twitch.tv/The Outcast Princess.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Well, I am going to highlight someone who's just made a return to streaming this week.
Ooh.
And yeah, it is a friend of ours.
Okay.
But they've had a bit of time off. If I could remember how to freaking type, that would be a good start, Smack. Well done. They had a bit of time off because they were unwell. Oh, fuck hell. Sorry, I just blasted one of their videos in the background there. Sorry about that, chat. Forgot it was loaded up. It's Ellen Nova.
Oh, good old Ellen.
Ellen. It was her birthday recently. But she is back on the old streamy streams. Came back with a bit of... In fact, the day she came back was the day Twitch crashed. So we blamed her.
Right, we blamed her, yeah.
It's all her fault. But she came back on Thursday, I think it was. She came back on her birthday, basically.
On her birthday, Thursday, yeah.
And just did a nice big stream. Got a good little hype train going. I think we had a level 8 hype train. She got a big raid to welcome her back from her team leader. And yeah, it's nice to see Ellen back. Ellen is a very random human being. Let's say that much.
Yes.
That's probably the best way to describe her. She's Ellen from the UK, mum of 2, loves playing games and making friends. I swear, and I'm loud. Rainbows are my vibe. I just like to have fun and hang out with everyone that comes in chat. She's not wrong. She has her own line of merch. She's got her own Discord server in her family called the Chaos Cult. She's a member of 2 teams, Team XO and Team Wildfire. And yeah, she's done very well for herself. She's at 1,000 followers now. She's kind of came out of nowhere and just really built up a good following last year.
I mean, like I said, it's like speaking of Ellen, like I say, I've been in many of her streams.
Yes,
especially when she was doing like Minecraft stuff. When we were all doing Minecraft stuff, which is something that I actually want to get back into as well. To be honest, because I feel my need for lava and explosions.
Feels the need for fire.
Yeah, it's like an addiction. I can't do it in real life because it is slightly frowned upon.
I'm so glad you specified that. Otherwise, we were going to get in a lot of trouble.
It is slightly frowned upon to do it in real life, so I have to do it in Minecraft.
You don't have to.
Well, fine, I want to. Okay.
There we go. But yeah, I do kind of miss. Ellen had her own server, which I think she still has, but just no one's in it.
Yeah, just no one's in it. Yeah.
So yeah, we could get back into some Minecraft stuff. You never know. You might see more of it coming. But Ellen was kind of Dan and I played a bit of Minecraft anyway, and then we found Ellen through Minecraft stuff. I think it might have been either a raid into Ellen or a raid out from Ellen. I can't remember, but
I think it was a raid into Ellen. I think.
But we've come across Ellen. Yeah, it's been good fun. We've been pals for over a year now, I think.
Oh God, I feel
Jesus, must be well over a year. I know she's been stuck with us for over a year. But yeah, so those are our 2 ones to watch this week. Again, reminder: links to both will be down below in either the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the description on Spotify, which crashed last week. I was having a bit of issues getting the episode uploaded, but it got there eventually.
Oh.
I know, exactly. I don't know what it was. It just decided it didn't want to. It tried to shut down the podcast. I was like, excuse me, what? I had to contact the help desk and be like, what's happening here? They're like, we don't know. It's happened to a few. Sorry, we'll get it fixed. So they got it back and I got it uploaded. But yeah, if anyone has any comments regarding some of the topics we've covered today, please feel free to get in contact. You can find me on Twitter if you want to reach me there. My DMs are open at SmackStreams. Dan, I'm sure the same's for you, but it's not my place to give out your tag. What are you at, Dan Siles 2? I
am at Dan Siles 2 over on Twitter.
Yeah.
I am, and like I say, if you have anything, just message. I'm free. Yeah. I've got Twitter on my phone. I'll message you back straight away.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty quick at getting back to DMs as well. But if I don't, just bear with me. I'll never leave you unseen and unread it. But yeah, any comments at all? I mean, I do, but I also have none at the same time. It's weird. I have a life, but I somehow do nothing with it. But yeah, we will be back next week for another episode where we're going to discuss a lot more in depth the games that are scheduled for release for this year, which ones we're excited for, and which ones we're not too sure on. And I also want to find out which ones I think are going to become cult classics, because I love games that get launched, like absolutely crash on launch or don't do as well as everyone thinks they will, but then slowly build up. Those are my kind of games. I love those ones.
I love that.
I like cult favorites. Dan, anything from you before we wrap up for today?
Yes, the main topic of this video: don't be a coward. If you see bad behavior, call it out. Okay, because you are just as culpable if you don't say anything.
Yes, very true. But when you said don't be a kit, I was like, please don't say the word I think you're thinking of.
I'm not Scottish.
Before we wrap up, actually, special shout out to a friend of the show, Cheshire Smoke, who's been doing an uncapped subathon and has currently been live for 1 week.
Whoa, 1 week?
She's been live for the entire week.
Jesus Christ. Do people watch her sleep?
Yeah, well, no, she puts it onto a Netflix thing.
Oh, well, that's fine.
In fact, give me a second. No. Not at all. Like, even right now, she's on a BRB. She's actually, this is the first time I've ever seen her timer at under 2 hours.
Oh, God.
But yeah, it's been a full week she's been live for now. So,
feel sorry.
Fucking hell. Credit to you, Smoke. We'll be back next week, folks. In the meantime, stay safe, look after each other online, and we will speak to you all again in a week's time. Mwah. Peace.
Peace.